You say you're waiting for the right time. The truth is there's no right time, there's just now. You say you're tired, broke, heartbroken, or not ready yet. But none of that changes the fact the world keeps moving. While you're thinking, someone else is doing. While you're doubting, someone else is building. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses. Short pause breath, because every second you waste defending your weakness is a second someone else spends sharpening their strength. No more waiting, no more maybe tomorrow. No excuses, just you and the work. Every day, somewhere in this world, someone wakes up before the sun rises. They're not waiting for motivation. They're not waiting for someone to clap for them. They just get up quietly and move, because they know something most people forget. The world doesn't wait. The world doesn't stop because you had a bad day. It doesn't slow down because you're tired or lost or hurt. It keeps spinning, and if you stand still too long, it'll spin right past you. That's the truth no one wants to hear. You can complain about your past, your pain, your excuses, but the world, it just keeps going. You think you need perfect conditions, the right mindset, the right support, but perfection is a myth built by fear. You'll never start if you keep waiting to feel ready. I've met people who told me, I'll start when I'm motivated. But motivation is like the wind, it changes direction every day. You can't build your future on something that's inconsistent. What you build it on is discipline, pain, and persistence, the kind that no one sees. The world rewards those who show up, not those who explain why they couldn't. And that's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers talk about what they'll do someday. Doers just do it and figure it out along the way. I remember when people told me, you're wasting your time. It's not going to work. They weren't trying to stop me, they were trying to make themselves comfortable with their own excuses. Because when you refuse to quit, you remind others of their own surrender. That's why people judge you when you start changing. They're not angry at your growth, they're angry that you're proving it was possible all along. So, don't wait for applause, don't wait for permission. The road doesn't need traffic to be real. Walk it anyway. You'll have nights where you question everything. You'll wonder why you're the only one still trying. But those nights, those silent wars with yourself, that's where strength is born. Not in comfort, not in company, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching, and you still keep going. Every day you show up, even when you don't feel like it. You separate yourself from 99% of the world. Every rep, every line, every note, every step, you're telling your future, I'm coming for you. Excuses are built from fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of starting too late. But here's the thing, fear never leaves. You just learn to walk with it. You take the hit, breathe through the doubt, and move anyway. The moment you stop arguing with your excuses, life starts to move. Because growth isn't. The hardest conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Not the one where you talk about what you want, but the one where you admit why you haven't done it yet. We all have that mirror moment. That second where you look at your reflection and realize the problem isn't the world. It's not your past. It's not your parents. It's not bad luck. It's you. It's the promises you broke to yourself. The potential you abandoned for comfort. The dreams you delayed because fear whispered louder than purpose. I've been there, looking at my reflection, knowing I could have done more. It's a painful kind of honesty, the kind that burns before it heals. But it's also the beginning of freedom, because the moment you stop lying to yourself, you start living as yourself. Excuses are stories we tell to protect our pride. I didn't have time. I wasn't ready. They didn't believe in me. But the truth is, we never needed their belief, we needed our discipline. The mirror never lies. It won't tell you you're unlucky, it will show you that you stopped trying. It won't tell you people betrayed you, it will show you that you ignored the sign. It won't tell you you're not enough, it will show you where you stopped growing. That's the thing about responsibility, it's heavy, but it's also powerful. When you accept that no one is coming to save you, you become unstoppable. Most people think freedom means doing whatever you want, but real freedom is earning the right to live without excuses. It's looking at the life you've built and knowing, I did this, every piece of it. Responsibility is the price of self-respect. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, your mindset changes. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, try me. Every time you look in the mirror, you have two choices. Tell yourself another story. Or face the truth. The story feels better in the moment. The truth feels better for a lifetime. You want to change your body, look in the mirror. You want to fix your life, look in the mirror. You want to be respected, look in the mirror. Everything starts there, not outside you, not in luck, not in applause, right there in that reflection staring back. The mirror doesn't care what you say, it only cares what you do. You can't lie to it because deep down it already knows. It knows when you've been lazy, it knows when you've been making excuses, and it knows when you've given less than you're capable of. But it also knows when you're trying, really trying. It knows when you've been getting up early, when you've been fighting temptation, when you've been staying disciplined. The mirror rewards honesty. You'll start to feel something strange when you take responsibility for everything peace. Because now you're not waiting for anyone. You're not depending on luck. You're not begging life to change. You're changing it. That's power, that's maturity, that's growth. The mirror won't clap for you. It won't say, good job, but it will show you progress slowly, quietly, every day. You'll notice your posture changing, your eyes becoming sharper, your energy more focused. That's not ego, that's ownership. Don't run from your reflection. Stand in front of it until you respect it. Because one day you'll look in that same mirror and realize the person. You know what separates the ones who make it from the ones who almost did. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's the willingness to endure pain and still keep going. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. When you're chasing something meaningful, a dream, a version of yourself, a life you've never seen before, the universe doesn't hand it over easily. It tests you. It strips away your comfort, your excuses, your backup plans. It pushes you to the point where most people quit, but those who don't, those who stay in the fire long enough, they come out unrecognizable, sharper, stronger, unstoppable. Every rep you force out when your muscles are screaming, every morning you wake up when your mind begs for rest, every time you choose discipline over comfort, that's when greatness is built. No one sees those moments. No one claps for them, but they're the foundation of everything worth having. Think about every person you admire: Jordan, Kobe, Ali, Keanu. They didn't just show up one day at the top. They fought battles no one will ever understand. They bled behind closed doors. They sacrificed sleep, relationships, and peace. And when the world said you can't, they said, watch me. That's the mentality of no excuses. Because excuses are what weak people use to protect their comfort, not their future. The truth is, most people never fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're not willing to go one more round, willing to take the punch and stand again, willing to believe when everyone else stopped believing. And maybe you're in that place right now where things hurt, where nothing's working, where you question why you even started. Listen to me. That's the moment that defines you. That's the place where most people break. But you don't quit here. You become here. Every scar, every tear, every sleepless night, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof you were strong enough to keep moving, because pain doesn't last forever. But regret does. You can live with the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One builds you, the other breaks you. Choose wisely. So, when your mind whispers, give up. When your body says enough, you answer with not today. You push through the noise, through the doubt, through the fear, because every time you say no excuses, you reclaim control. Control of your destiny, your story, your future. And someday, you'll look back on these moments, the lonely nights, the failures, the endless effort, and realize they weren't the hardest part of the journey. They were the journey. They were the fire that forged your character, the storm that shaped your strength. Without them, you'd still be ordinary. You won't always feel like it. Let that sink in. There will be mornings when you wake up and every part of you screams, not today. When your dreams feel too far, your body too tired, your mind too heavy. And that's where most people stop, because they think success comes from motivation. But it doesn't. Motivation is a spark. Discipline, that's the fire that keeps you going long after the spark is gone. See, motivation is emotional. It's easy to feel inspired when the music's loud, when the crowd's clapping, when life is easy. But when the lights go out, when no one's cheering, that's where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It just says, get up, do it anyway, think about it. You don't brush your teeth because you feel like it. You do it because it's part of who you are. That's discipline. That's how consistency is built. And consistency, not motivation, is what separates dreamers from doers. Motivation is for the start. Discipline is for the finish. When Keanu Reeves was training for John Wick, he didn't rely on feeling pumped every morning. He trained for months, 8 hours a day, perfecting every move until his body didn't need to think. That's discipline. That's mastery. And that's what builds a life that lasts beyond hype. Look at the greats Kobe Bryant shooting before sunrise, Jocko Willink waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day, David Goggins running miles when his knees are screaming. They're not chasing a feeling. They're chasing the standard they set for themselves. Because when you live by discipline, you stop asking, what do I want right now? And start asking, what will this decision cost my future? You see, discipline doesn't just shape your habits, it rewires your identity. It turns your I should into I must, your maybe tomorrow into I did it today. It teaches your mind to obey your goals, not your emotions. And when you reach that level of self-control, that quiet, powerful place where you move with purpose, regardless of how you feel, that's when you're unstoppable. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't reward people who start. It rewards people who finish, and finishing takes showing up when you don't want to. It takes grinding through boredom, through fatigue, through doubt. It takes saying, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to begin. Every rep, every page, every early morning and late night. That's discipline speaking. And when you build enough of those moments, stacked together, when you look back after years of consistency, you'll realize that you didn't just build a dream. You built yourself. So if you're waiting for motivation, stop. It won't save you. It won't build you. But discipline, that's your armor. That's your weapon. That's your edge. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you win a war inside your own mind. You silence the voice that says quit. You strengthen the... You can have talent. You can have passion. You can even have luck. But if you don't have consistency, you'll lose it all. Because life doesn't reward those who do great things once it rewards those who keep showing up long after the applause fades. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not the moment you cross the finish line. It's the 1,000 small steps no one sees. It's saying yes to the process when it's slow, when it's hard, when it feels like nothing is changing. It's waking up every day and choosing to give just one more ounce of effort, even when yesterday felt like a failure. That's grit. That's what makes ordinary people extraordinary. You see, most people quit not because they can't win, but because they can't wait. They want instant validation, instant progress, instant results. But growth doesn't work that way. The seed doesn't bloom the day it's planted. It takes time, it takes care, it takes faith in the unseen. Grit is what keeps you watering the seed even when nothing has sprouted. Consistency is what keeps you showing up when no one else believes it'll grow. And one day, quietly, suddenly the roots become strong enough to break through the ground. That's when the world calls it overnight success. But you'll know it was years of invisible effort. Think about Keanu Reeves. For decades, he stayed grounded while others chased fame. He chased craft. He trained, studied, failed, came back. No scandals, no noise, just quiet, steady work. That's what makes people like him timeless, because consistency doesn't demand attention. It earns respect. Grit is not about being loud. It's about being relentless. It's what keeps the runner pushing through the last mile when every muscle burns. It's what makes the artist keep painting after rejection. It's what keeps the dreamer alive when the world says give up. Grit is not about perfection. It's about persistence. There's a story of Thomas Edison after thousands of failed experiments while inventing the light bulb. Someone asked if he felt like a failure. He said, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." That's grit. That's the mindset of someone who knows success is not a single event. It's the result of stubborn consistency. You have to understand this. The universe doesn't test your strength by giving you easy days. It tests your heart by giving you long, silent seasons where no one claps, no one sees, and nothing seems to work. That's where your character is forged. That's where you prove to yourself that your commitment is real. Every drop of sweat, every late night, every lonely morning adds up quietly, invisibly, until one day it all clicks. And people will ask, "How did you do it?" You'll smile, because they'll never understand what it took the 1,000 days you showed up when you didn't want to. Consistency builds momentum. Momentum builds belief, and belief builds destiny. If you can stay consistent long enough, there's nothing you can't transform. Not your body, not your mind, not your life. Every masterpiece was once a mess that someone refused to give up on. Every empire was once an idea that someone refused to let die. And every version of your future self, the stronger, wiser, calmer one, is built by the action. There's a moment every warrior faces, the moment when you're standing in the dark, alone, and everything inside you whispers, maybe it's time to give up. That's the crossroad. That's the point where most people turn back. But if you choose to keep walking, even when it feels like you're walking through fire, that's when you become something greater. Because strength isn't built when things go right. It's built when everything goes wrong and you still refuse to quit. The truth is, life will test you. It will strip you down, break your plans, and challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself. You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll even lose belief in yourself at times. But the ones who make it through, the ones who rise, aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who get back up every single time they do. Think of Keanu Reeves. He lost loved ones. He faced silence, loneliness, pain most people couldn't imagine. But he kept going. He didn't let bitterness win. He didn't let grief define him. He became a symbol of resilience, not because he had everything, but because he kept showing up with nothing. And that's what never quitting really means: not fighting because you're winning, but fighting because you refuse to lose yourself. You see, quitting is easy when you make it an option. But when you close that door, when you decide that no matter what, you won't stop, life bends around that decision. It's like the universe recognizes commitment. Doors open, opportunities align, because the moment you decide you're unbreakable, life stops trying to break you. Grit isn't about never being tired. It's about walking forward even when you are. It's about saying, I'm exhausted. I'm scared, but I'm still here. That's courage, and courage isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the whisper that says, try again tomorrow. The greatest power you will ever have is persistence. Because talent fades, motivation fades, but persistence outlasts everything. Every champion you admire was once a beginner who refused to quit. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Even Einstein was told he'd never be smart enough. They all had one thing in common: they didn't let rejection define their future. They kept going until the world had no choice but to notice. And that's what I want you to understand. You don't become unstoppable by winning all the time. You become unstoppable by learning to rise every time you fall. The person who never quits doesn't look different on the outside. They just think differently on the inside. They don't ask, what if I fail? They ask, what if I don't give up? That's a shift that changes everything. Because once you make peace with the struggle, once you stop fighting the hard days and start embracing them, you'll realize something powerful. The pain that tried to destroy you was actually shaping you. Every heartbreak, every setback, every moment you wanted to walk away, they were all building the version of you that's strong enough to handle what's next. That's what never quitting gives you, not just success, but depth. A deeper understanding of yourself, your limits, and your purpose. When you stop quitting, you stop waiting for life to be easy. You start becoming the person who can handle hard things. And that's the real reward, not comfort, not fame, not applause. It's knowing you've become the kind of person who can survive the storm and keep walking through the rain with your head held high. If you're tired, rest. If you fail, learn. But what